I have no idea how the sound's going to come out on this, so bear with me. Well, if it's too bad, we just won't use it. So the meanings of words over time change. And sometimes that's on purpose, and sometimes it's just the natural evolution of it. What we call a tree today used to be called an arbor. You've heard of Arbor Day? Apparently, way back when, there was some English law that if you planted an arbor, you had to plant 3 of them. 3. So they just became known as arbors and trees. Tree arbors. And eventually people just, you know how the British are with things, Cockney rhyming, slang, and all that junk. They just like to mess around with their language a little bit, or a lot. So they became known as trees. In our Constitution, you're talking, what, 250 some years ago? Almost 250 years ago, whatever. I'm not going to sit here and do the math. The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the... keep going. Anyway, the word regulated now means is set upon by harsh rules, you know, strong rules. Regulated means for somebody to come in and control it. But that's an evolution of the word. Regulated used to mean just to make regular, to have everything be the same. Which basically meant if you have a smoothbore musket and your buddy has a smoothbore musket across the street and the guy down the street has a smoothbore musket, your little group needs to all have smoothbore muskets. Same caliber, all that. Make regular. Make the same. Everybody should have an AR-15 with the same magazines and the same, you get the point. So the main point, what I'm getting at, or what I'm getting to, what I'm working up to, in the Bible it says, the meek shall inherit the earth. And I heard this a long time ago, and I just heard it recently again. The word meek means timid, passive, and all that junk now. But A, it's a bad translation, and B, the word doesn't mean the same thing it used to. But the original word that they translated meek from meant, and I should have looked it up. I was going to have a little note card so I can keep track of this stuff, but it meant power under control. It meant to be powerful, to be strong, and to keep it controlled. The meek will inherit the world. The powerful, but the orderly, the controlled, will inherit the world, is what it meant. The Japanese have a similar saying. Or, well, it's not similar, but it's addresses the same idea. They say it's better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a farmer in a war. And that's a poor translation as well, but the point is, you should be capable of violence. You should be able to protect and defend the order that you're working to build. And not timid and lay down and take it, but controlled, disciplined. It's better to be ready to fight and know how to fight and not have to. And a lot of times just knowing how and being ready to will mean that you don't have to. Machiavelli says that good men should be capable of doing evil deeds. It's the only thing that keeps evil men in check. He talks in length extensively about not being a bad person, but being able to do the things that a bad person does. Anyway, you should be should be cognizant of the idea that, as I said before, and who are you? We are that which we consistently do. We are what we practice. Being capable of horrific things, being capable of great evil, does not mean that you are evil. What do you practice? What do you do? What is your constant? What is your go-to? You should be capable of handling chaos. It doesn't mean you live in chaos. You should be capable of handling violence. It doesn't mean you live in violence. Just because I know how to use a sword doesn't mean I live by the sword. I may very well die by the sword. But that's not what I am. It's not what you should be. But you shouldn't lay down and take it either. You shouldn't lay down and take it either. Be capable of horrific acts of violence, but don't do them. It's like Mattis said, be polite, be professional, have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Doesn't mean be ready to kill people. It just means be prepared to defend yourself. Anyway, that was my point for the day. I don't know why I needed to say that. Just saw some things here and was doing a little reading on it, what I had heard. Thought I'd share. So, alright guys, I will catch you on the next one. Be awesome. Be good. Be prepared.